Welcome to Lost in the Lakes, and tonight we're going up High Rig. Yeah, we should be easily long gone by then. Steep first ascent though, look at this already. Right up here. It's just started raining as well. Nice little area here. This here, although it's a wildfire, it's actually part of the youth centre, so I believe this is private ground for the youth centre, so they have controlled fires here. And we're going straight up there. So the weather's been nice since Sunday morning, since my last video. You can see a nice bit of sun, cold but a bit of sun. It's been lovely all week. And then the night I choose to come camping, it's raining. But hey, we're out for another wet one. Tent's dry from last week. It took 2 days to dry that tent out. It was wet. It was, properly wet, because obviously during the night the clouds cleared and it got frosty cold. Then the condensation on the inside. So it was wet inside and out. In fact, the driest part was the ground sheet. I rolled the tent up. Haven't yet edited that part of the video, but you would have seen it by now. Yeah, I was quite surprised. I knew the ground was fast runoff, because I could only get my tent pegs in about that far before I had to really knock them in. Yeah, it was really fast runoff. And so quick. All that rain. I mean, there was floods, there was a weather warning, a yellow weather warning for rain. Yeah, it was dry in the morning. I was really surprised. So yeah, the only part of the tent that was dry was the ground sheet, like on the outside. So I don't know if anyone's seen the videos of up by Chewett Tarn, low rig, one with I think it's called Wild Camping with Wild Horses. That was just on the other side of here. In fact, on the second time I camped up there, just about there you would have seen the tent from here. You can't see it from the roadside, but when you're climbing up, yeah, you probably would have seen it. In fact, no, I think I was a little bit hidden over the other side, but this side being high rig and that being low rig, this one's a little bit higher. I'm taking the main route up from St John's in a Vale Church, St John's Church, which is the youth centre's there. The church is just there. I'm going over to High Rig itself. I believe last time I camped on High Rig range, I didn't even go to the top of High Rig because it's over this side. I went over from the other side. It was quite a nice day. I think that was around about Easter time last year. So it's well over a year since I've been up here. Literally come off the road and start climbing up here. And it's quite steep straight away. You can actually see where I camped last time. This is Throkel Knots, that's Clough Head. And this is Throkel Knots. The little bump on this side was when I first camped. And then, I don't know if you can see, but it's like a little scree just below the summit there, or the summit of that part, is where I camped last week. So I'm on the other side of the valley, although it's raining. It's obviously not raining, nowhere near as bad as it was last week. And I think the forecast is to kind of stay the way it is. I've got walking shoes on today. So people call them approach shoes or just walking shoes. Some Zamberlin, good boots actually. I used to have some Zamberlin boots back in the day, about 20 odd years ago. Had them for years, never liked them. But I still had them because I'd spent a lot of money on them, so I put my feet through it, I think, with that one. But these new ones, they're much better. They certainly listen to the walkers, you know, having a slightly wider foot, and I don't know whether it's this design, but the other Zamblins I've looked at in the shop, the soles are a lot wider. They're quite a narrow, tippy boot. I might have explained that before, but you know, the soles on them were narrow and the boot was wide, so it felt you were walking on like almost like high heels. It didn't feel like you were sat in the boot, it was more like you were sat on the boot. There's a race on. I'm just having a little rest here. There's a race on called Ultra Valleys, 11 Valleys or whatever, 7 Valleys, and they're still running through here. So they've basically been going all day, and they're still out at 6:30. What time is it now? 6 o'clock, and yeah, they're still running. They've still got from here back to Keswick. If the route's where I think it goes, they've got at least 5 miles to go. Some of them were shuffling quite slow. I think it was the last runners, certainly spread out, and the ones that I saw are now gone over the end of Low Rig, probably over to Chewett Town now. Took the sort of path over the back, so not over the actual fell itself by the looks of it. There's a couple of pink marker flags that you can see. Splits up here, but I think I'm going to take the this path here. Don't know if you can see how steep it is here actually. Steep grassy path. This is even steeper, but we'll take the less steeper one that's still pretty steep. But again, it's a short walk. Oh, there's some more bunch of 5 people there walking or running along there. So there's still a few more to go. Can't see them. I think they're coming up from a footpath round the corner there. In fact, it does look like a few of them might be marshals at the back, so they might be the people that pull the last lot. No, they can't be, because there's still a few flags. It's my understanding usually it's the back markers that bring in the flags, so they wait until you know, the last person's gone through and then clear up all the flags from the fells. And as you saw last week, there was 2 for a fell run. It was the day after actually, over on Threlkeld Knots. Not sure where that one went, but could have been something to do with this lot. Actually no, it won't have been, because that was last week. Sometimes I find it hard to think and natter on when I'm walking up a hill out of breath. Looks like we're nearly on the level point now. Look back, there's a little viewpoint over there. So I think we've done the hard part. Still got a little bit to climb, but I'm going to look, see if there's a path over to the left here. I reckon it'll be a nice little good viewpoint over there. Might be something here as well, to be honest. Just because the wind's pushing this way, I want to see how exposed it is here. Again, we're probably only talking about 10 or 15 mile an hour. Might be a little quick one here to pitch. There's a fair bit of bracken around. I could get away with a pitch here, but that'll be all too easy. So let's go a bit higher and see what we've got. I think we've got better pickings up there. So look at this, within 1 week of autumn, changing to autumn, all this bracken is dying off. Starting to see a change, and yeah, I suppose the difference here is once all this died off, there'll be a lot more camping places. I was just talking to someone through the week about camping, as you do, and you're sort of saying about the mindset sort of changes for your expectations of, you know, getting that lovely sunset, that you know, summit camp up the top of a mountain because you've got hours of daylight, to just getting out there and being out, being away and being out. It's just, you know, like last week when I was so wet, I got in the tent. Didn't come through on the video quite well, but the vestibule on this solo's really small and had this bag and me kind of shoved in the vestibule bit, kneeling down, trying to sort of get unchanged out of my wet stuff and getting over to the dry part. So if there's one downside that the solo has, I think it could do with a bigger vestibule. I think an Abisco might be on the cards. I do like the size, although it's a little bit smaller, a bit lower down. Once you're in the solo, it's nice, it's quite roomy, but the porch is, you know, if you utilise the porch quite a lot with your bag and things like that, especially when it's wet, you know, you want to segregate everything. It was a bit of a push, you know, I had a little tiny place for my stove to go, and yeah, it was a bit of a push to get everything right. I think tonight will be a bit different because it's not as wet, not as windy, so I can probably keep the doors of the doors of the inner tent open. Right, I can't believe it, we're up already. We're up near the top. I think I might go exactly to the top, but we've got all these little undulate. It's a bit like haystacks, I think. You've got these little undulating hills off to the left and to the right that probably all able to get a pitch on. I'm just going over to the left here. Yeah, so there's a pitch right on the edge here. I think that's the top. I haven't checked the map. Nice little pitch here. I think with the wind going off or coming this way, it might be better having a pitch on the other side. Again, this is what I like about this mountain here, high rig, sorry. The options that you get. There's views both sides. You know, it's quite cloudy, but I can go here, I can pitch here, and I've got views of Blencathra and Skidder, Chewett Tarn just down there, or I can go off this side over there and get views of Thirlmere Valley. So yeah, so with the wind coming this way, it'll be better if I'm facing that way, sort of towards Keswick, because then the wind's hitting the bottom end of the tent and not into the door like I have had for the last 2 camps. And yeah, this is prevailing as well, so I think it will. Again, haven't checked the wind. I've checked the wind speed but not direction, which maybe I should before I even start thinking about where I should go. I mean, there's a nice bowl here, totally out of the wind. Obviously it's by the path, but you know, if it was last week with the weather like it was, actually no, looking at it, the wind would be way it'd be channeling through here. I'm going to make a beeline for the top and then have a look and see what the wind's like. Nice little slippy section here. Good for testing the Vibram soles, which are, yeah, a lot better. So this is the actual top. As you turn around, there's two people in tent. So obviously on the top here, probably get a good little camp there. Maybe one over. This is another one where the cairn isn't the top. There's the top there, and there's the cairn, so it's not quite a summit cairn. Might go over the edge there, or I might just go over to the left. Right, so I just met that family. They've got a couple of tents there. They've got a YouTube channel just starting out, ALB Outdoors. Give it a like and subscribe if you can. And yeah, probably make their day. So, right, obviously they're over that side. I'm thinking of maybe going over there. There's a bit of water down there. I might go over to that far side, just so I can get a view of Thirlmere. Well, not Thirlmere, there's Thirlmere Valley. Right, so I just came down that steep bit there. A little bit slippy actually. Look at this. It's spoilt for choice. Like there's any hill that you can have on here. And of course there's tarns and stuff like that. Little bits of water. I am really tempted to sort of go over to the left there. I should have gone on that little peak there. I think I remember last time coming across here. And I went over to this bit, but I don't think it was campable. I can't remember now. But yeah, where should we go? Still got a good hour before sunset as well. So yeah, we have got plenty of time to have a wander about. Now the weather's on and off. It looks horrendous actually, but it's not as bad as it looks. Look at them clouds over here. Look at them things. They look really bad, but I think it's because it's not as windy, and the clouds are. I mean, I camped on that lower point. It's way out of the clouds, right up to the top. You can almost see Blencathra, but then you turn around, you've got all that. But we're going to venture over here. We're a bit off-piste here, but we're going to meet up with another path that's coming off this way. Probably goes over to that tarn. I can see a little sheep track going up. But I want to stop. I don't want to drop down into that tarn there just because it's going to be a bit boggy. But I'm going to start looking. I am sort of veering towards where there's a little cairn up there. Right, here we're going to have to drop down, but looking at it, there's a path that comes down here. So if we come off here and then venture up to the right there, we'll miss this tarn. Might be a little runoff. There might be a little. So I'll get down here. There's the path. Another little sheep track going up there. So we're going to keep off to the right here. I think we should be able to get past this tarn. I don't think there's like a little stream or anything coming off it. Actually, it is looking a bit. Right, there is a path here. So we'll follow this path. I think this is the lowest point of the tarn. So we're going to keep away from that one and venture over to the right. Staring at that and everything, I'm tripping all over the place. Just little tufts of grass everywhere. Right, this is where the tarn actually runs off down there, but I think we're all right. A bit rocky over there. I thought it was a wall, but it's just the rocky part. Oh, we've made good timing actually. Surprising how quick you can get over to a point. Don't know if you can see in the background, but that's the family. They were on about going to find a town for something to drink. They're coming this way. So if you go onto ALB Outdoors, you might actually see the video that they're putting up. I'm going to check it out anyway. I'll put a link when I find the channel. Okay, so we're coming up to this little cairn here. Looks like there's a good point here if you want to get out of the wind. I think I've got the Hilleberg Solo, so really I should be looking at pitching it on a summit. There's that one over there. Look at this. Summits for days, eh? Right, where are we going to go? I think that one's going to be a good one. Here's just a little bit rocky. We've got some cliffs. Well, some steep bankings. So yeah, I think I'm going to drop down here, walk along and up there. I'll also have a little look over there as well. Autumn already. We've got 1 week in autumn and look at this. Bracken is dying off. I was down by Derwent Water yesterday morning and noticed on one of the islands there was a tree just completely brown, and yeah, you get some lovely colours with the islands, you know, because they're all covered in trees, and or the ones that are covered in trees, and they just change and you get some lovely colours. Right, let's have a look, see what we got over here. Are we going to get another load of hills? You know what, I'm happy with this here. I think this is all right. Oh no, I was going to go up there, wasn't I? Right, let's fly up here. Have a little look. Look at that dark cloud coming in. Got full waterproofs, but got my pants in my bag, ready to go. Right, there's two ways up here. There's a path that side, but there's a steep grassy point on this side here. So I think we're gonna go off up here, check out what it's like. Right, we're a bit more exposed up here. Not as level as I thought it was going to be. Obviously it's hard to tell sometimes, but we'll go up to this little point here and see what it's like. I think we're good to go here, to be honest. Wind's going to pick up, but it's yeah, it's one of these. Look, for me that looks perfectly level and great. You come down and it's on a slope, but I think we can perhaps get a tent here. Prevailing is coming right across here, right into the camera, so we can get the tent pitched that away. Yeah, we should be all right. Let's have a little wander around, just see. It is starting to come in a little bit now, so we've got to start thinking we need to start pitching a tent. Right, I think we're going to go slightly to the left here, to the right even. There we go. And of course, the weather's starting to come in. One tent, one bag of poles, and then search for the pegs. It's always the pegs. Just find their way right down the tent, right down the bag. Lumpy grass, at least we'll get a good sighting for the pegs. Yeah, they'll go in all right. I'm going to double peg again like I did last week, purely because the ground's quite soft. The weather isn't going to be as strong. Hand's not as cold either. I actually got some gloves with me today, some Gore-Tex windstopper ones, quite nice. Haven't yet tried them out. Might have them for the morning if it's cold, because again it's supposed to clear. So if the clouds clear, it's going to be a cold-ish morning. Right, let's get some pegs. I'm going to go for 6 Dak Hilleberg pegs to get the ground sheet pegged out. Get them out. fiasco with the door last time. Problem spinning the tent round like that in the wind. So I always do these 4 corners first. Works better, you can get a good tension on it. And then the front and back. It's nice to be able to get a peg in and not have to bash it in with a rock. And guess what? I've just hit a rock. Right, there we go. Right, let's get these poles up. See if we can do this a little bit quicker than last week. Again, I think with this wind, don't have to worry so much about getting the guys pegged in straight away. Well, certainly all round, but I'm definitely gonna get the upwind guys in. Just these 2 here. I'm gonna double peg these ones. V1's in first. I think I'm gonna swap out all my pegs eventually for these type. Yeah, yes, you're the wrong way. There we go. For these type, they're sort of Y pegs. I just think they're an all-round better peg. Again, not as cold as last week. I don't know if that's because I've got trousers on, whereas last time I had shorts under my waterproofs. I'm not sure how much difference that makes. Certainly when I was in the tent, made a big difference. Right, let's get this picked out, come on. So the main thing with these is getting all the guy ropes sorted first, getting, you know, what I tend to do now is, last week it was just a mess, but when I can concentrate, get the guy ropes wrapped round as you're sort of clipping the tent up. Again, I used to walk around it and clip one clip every time, but I think 2's good enough until you get to this top bit, and then you just try and pick the loosest clip as you go along, just because it can be really tight. You know, if you clip down one side and then you come to do some of these and they'll be far away from, you know, pulling that one, so I'll clip this one here, which is closer, and it brings the rest of the tent up, and then your final clip isn't that bad. Let's get this over with. Let's get this over here. Yeah, let's get it over with. Let's get in the tent. Right, let's get gold pegs in first, eh? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We've already got 2 pitched. Let's get the lower ones in first, out as far as we can. There we go. Right, now we should have 6 more of these Y pegs. Get them out. I sometimes like them to get these out a little bit further than the lower ones. Just feels better. Don't know what the reason is. That's it, they're going in nice and tight. 2 further away ones. Pretty much like you're pitching the ground sheet, you know, pulling the 2 outer ones. Yeah, definitely going to get another 6 of these. I even might get the Hilleberg versions. The trouble is they're twice the price. I don't know if they're twice the quality. They just feel like they grip the ground a bit better. No tripping over tents today. I've already had a comment. Someone seen that. It wasn't a comment on YouTube, but here's a comment in passing of someone I knew. Me tripping over my tent. Let's have a look at the mess inside. Yeah, this vestibule's tiny compared to the Acto and the one at Enan. Bag's pretty wet. Thankfully, it is waterproof, or at least it holds the water quite well. So we'll try and be a bit more organised with this one. Put my stuff. Right, let's get in the tent. In fact, let me just check these guy ropes first, just before I right, let's get in. It's getting dark. Okay, you can just see the family over there. Just going to pull this a little bit tighter. I think it loosened off in the wind from last week. Yeah, this one's really come down. Yeah, you have to watch these. They get caught round the clips. But yeah, that's it. Let's just go back here. Just last little view. There's the tent, looking good. Yeah, we're on a bit of an upslope, but if I sleep that way, should be all right. I can elevate my feet somehow. Let's get in. Right, we're in. Let's just take this jacket off. Roll these back a little bit. Right, I've got the kyanite on here tonight, and really surprised how warm this Polartec Power Stretch stuff is. It's actually quite nice. I'm guessing 8 degrees with a bit of wind chill. Obviously when I'm in the tent there's no wind chill. Okay, so it's 11 degrees down in the valleys, and so with wind chill and everything, I think we're probably looking at 5 wind chill. It's probably in here, I would say it's about 8 or 9 degrees. So with Gamma pants, these are the joggers actually. So the Gammas slightly damp, and they'll dry off soon. And just this Power Stretch and a t-shirt, I am quite warm. Again, I've been walking, so I haven't yet sort of sat around for any time, but yeah, there's something to be said about Polartec stuff. Now, I've got the Polartec Alpha Nerona top, which is very similar to the Senshi designs. If anyone watches Good Bloke Outdoors, he swears by them. You know, that basically it's Polartec Alpha. Now I think the difference with that, or with this, is it's got a bit of windproof on it. So this is probably a bit warmer. I would say they're probably very similar under a shell jacket, but this, especially the kyanite, you know, the Polartec on this is the Power Stretch. Yeah, quite like Polartec. I'm going to get more of their stuff, or at least more stuff that has Polartec in it. Like you say, I've got the Power Stretch, I've got the Alpha. Oh, check these out. My waterproof pants. Little hat, because I knew it was going to be, just in case it was getting cold. So I've bought these. These are the Arc'teryx. I'm not sure what the name is, but they're a windstopper gore. But they're quite dexterous. So if I put my good hand in, in fact it's actually wet, so the top of this isn't as waterproof as I originally thought. So yeah, nice windstopper. Not quite, are they waterproof? I'll have to check on it. I'll check and then I'll give you the specs. But yeah, they are a Gore-Tex, but they're just a windstopper. But they do feel like they are waterproof. Not all Gore-Tex is waterproof. Like I'm saying, the windstopper stuff I don't think is as waterproof. Right, this thing's gone down. I've been too busy chatting. I'm going to blow it up and I'll bring you back. And check what's going on. We've had a bit of a tension there. It's getting pretty windy out there. Windier than last week actually, but the rain stopped, so should be alright. So I'm going to pop outside and have a look, see what's going on. Right, let's brave the elements. little bit, so let's get that in a little bit deeper. That one's in good. Have a look at these two. Right, so 2 minutes out there and it was bloody freezing. So I'm glad I'm in here. So I'm going to jump back in my sleeping bag and chill out for a bit. This wind is peaking up for the next hour or so, and then apparently it's going to calm down. But yeah, pretty confident that the tent's going to hold. It's in quite strong. So yeah, all's good. All's good for now.